We've got to get to this next segment with our friend here, Josh Luber. We're going to talk about Stephon Marbury's affordable sneaker line, which seems to be back in action. Take a look at this. The former Knicks star, he's a point guard, or was a point guard, is reintroducing his affordable Starbury sneaker line to the U.S. market. The sneaker will retail for less than $15 a pair. Ooh. And joining us now from Detroit Live is Josh Luber, CEO of StockX. Josh, what do you think? Are they going to make a good comeback here in the States?
The last time that we saw the Marbury was in 2008, and it was selling for $15 then. So to come back 9 years later, I don't know what inflation is on $15, make it $17, it's still $15. It is, every other shoe has gone up astronomically. The top basketball shoe right now retails for about $200. So to have a shoe with a signature NBA athlete on it, granted one that hasn't played in 10 years still, for $15, it's just a pretty cool story in general. Whether anyone will buy it, well, I guess that's to be determined.
Right, Josh, I mean, it is pretty cool. I remember when Shaquille O'Neal tried to come out with a lower-end shoe. I think it was with Starter was the company that he tried to do that with. But Stephon Marbury, this is what I find most interesting. Obviously, he inked that deal with the City Trends. It's going to be in several stores across the country. But to your point, he hasn't played in the NBA in 10 years. And if you're like a newer NBA fan, right, somebody that's grown up as part of the Steph Curry, three-point jump shot generation, you don't even know who Stephon Marbury is unless you're going out to China to see him play. I mean, it's been reported that he's also, though, Josh, going to be putting out some slightly higher priced shoes that could be in the $60 range, along with opening up a flagship store right in New York City, out in Brooklyn. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think the really interesting thing is that the other flagship store they're talking about is possibly in Beijing. And look, he may or may not be able to sell anything in the United States, right? People may or may not remember Stephon Marbury. But in China, he's a basketball god. He went over there after his career in the NBA and joined, frankly, I forget the name of the team, but whatever it is in the Chinese Basketball League, and led that team to multiple championships. They literally have statues of Stephon Marbury in China. So, look, this may just be a play to sell shoes in China, and we all know that's a much bigger market than the United States anyway. So they'll definitely sell some shoes in China. Whatever they sell in the United States, that's probably gravy.
Right, and there's some speculation that, of course, as he retires and comes back from China, that he'll need, some kind of income. He needs a second life, basically, a second career. Opening a flagship store, launching these new shoe lines, will this help him? I mean, will it be enough to sustain his second career?
I would think so, right? I would think just off the China alone, however many shoes he can sell in China. What's really interesting and what's a really great part of this story is the reason he originally launched the shoes back in 2006 at $15 shoes. That was kind of the height of violence surrounding sneaker releases when Air Jordans were selling for $150 and there were, there was a lot of just bad press around sneakers in general. And so this was Steph's way of saying, listen, you don't have to have that sort of competition for sneakers. Anyone can buy my shoe for $15. So there's a really good story behind this of why he's selling it for $15. From a financial standpoint, I got to guess China is going to carry it alone. But either way, in the United States, it's still a good story.
Right, Josh, I like if you brought up that $150 price point for Air Jordans, which, they've still been consistently kind of around that in terms of, releasing them every couple of months or so. But the Weeknd, moving into music, got a new shoe deal with Puma. Can he replicate the success that we've seen with Kanye West and Adidas, Rihanna, and Puma, even Future and Reebok?
Look, that's certainly the question. I think this is a great move for Puma. Puma signing the Weeknd to have his own shoe comes on the success that they've had with Rihanna, right? This right here is actually one of Rihanna's shoes. It's called the Fenty. And she's had a phenomenal success and really the first shoe in a long time that sort of put Puma back into the sneakerhead culture. So to now have a men's shoe and obviously the Weeknd being a huge star, I mean, that's the goal. It is a $220 retail shoe. Ooh. It's not an athletic sneaker. It's more of a casual sneaker. But it's got a design that's actually very close to some really expensive shoes. It actually has a design similar to the Fear of God military boot, which is a very popular shoe from a very high-end brand that sells for $1,200. So in one way, you can say that this is a shoe that you can get the same design and feel for $1,000 less than you might get it elsewhere. Either way, this is a big step for Puma.
Right, and he said that he's wanted President Obama, former President Obama, to wear this, the Pope, Elon Musk. I mean, how likely is that?
Well, look, every other brand has been giving Obama shoes for the longest time. Kanye famously gave Obama Yeezys. After the Cubs championship last year, Dexter Fowler gave the president a pair of Jordans. There's been a pair of Under Armour Steph Currys that have the presidential seal floating around. So every brand's trying to get Barack to wear those shoes. So I guess we'll see what he wears.
Exciting stuff to see which one he picks first.
Well, I mean, President Obama has made it no secret that he likes sports a lot, that he's a huge basketball fan. But in terms of like a singer like The Weeknd and wearing these shoes, I mean, I'm sure they gifted the president with these nearly $250 shoes. I mean, he at least put them in his closet.
That's true. That's true. All right. Our thanks to Josh Luber. He's the CEO of StockX. We'll talk to you next week, Josh.